Mila Gibson was a young woman in her mid-20s. She recently graduated from college in Clarksville, Tennessee, and was looking for a job. After applying to various places, Mila accepted an offer for the post of an archivist from the local library in town. She liked working at this library. Her job was to organize and preserve all the books, documents, and records in the archives. And since this library was quite old, Mila often found herself dealing with material that was now considered ancient, part of history, and getting to go through them was an amazing experience. For the past week, Mila had been organizing and sorting through tons of books that were donated to the library over the years. When she entered the large archive room, she was overwhelmed looking through the stacks of books. It seemed that the staff had been simply leaving everything they didn't want to go through in here. But after a lot of hard work, Mila had gotten down to the last of the books. There were just a few boxes left. But considering the condition they were in, Mila was in doubt whether she would be able to restore them. As she took out the books, some fell apart from its binding. She started collecting those loose pieces of paper when she noticed a book that had a strange leather cover. She stacked all the others and took it out. This book was quite old as well, but it seemed that it had survived only because of the cover. Mila had never seen a book like this, and she was intrigued. She brought it over to the table, turned on the light, and began dusting and cleaning it. She opened the cover, searching for a name or an address. To the far corner of the leather cover, she found a small signature of a man named Henry Anderson. Perhaps of the man it belonged to? The book didn't have an author, but the title was fascinating. Creatures of Unseen, Angels and Demons. Mila flipped over the first page. This is the first book of 3 sisters. The one that shall read what is contained in it, and in the book of the dead, and in the prophecies of the dark Lord, shall acquire not any knowledge, but knowledge of the unseen. Mila raised her brow as she flipped through the pages. So this book was one out of a trilogy? Interesting. Not only did this book seem like it had been preserved for ages, but Mila was captivated by reading the first few lines. She kept aside the book for herself. She would look into this. Over the next few days, Mila searched for every opportunity to read the book. The Page of the Tree. What is this? Mila was fascinated learning about angels and demons. She found the book was filled with strange descriptions, perhaps myths and folktales about creatures of another worldly realm. This couldn't possibly be true. Or could it? Of the angels, there are 3 that rank above all. The archangels of the Lord of Light. They are obedient to the Lord and perform their duties as commanded. The guardian angel. The angel specially designated by the Lord of Light to assist those of humankind who are truly good and righteous. This angel helps them in time of hardship and grief, a guardian, a counselor, a protector to the keepers of a clean heart. The angel of destiny, the one who writes fate. She makes sure that every event comes to pass as was destined. Those who intervene in her way, attempting to alter destiny's course, going against that which has been predestined, shall be cursed by the angel of destiny. Death shall visit him 7 times, taking his soul by the last. The angel of death, the one who comes to take man away from his vessel, the vessel onto which man was born. Birth and death is unavoidable, and when the determined time comes to pass for every individual, the angel of death descends to return with their soul. Mila suddenly sat up startled to one of her co-workers enter the archive room. Mila, could you please hand me the documents that arrived from the branch in California? Sure, just one moment. Mila put aside the book and hurried to pick up the files for Christina. What are you working on? Oh, it's just another book I found in this massive archive. When was the last time anyone cleaned up in here? This is the one job everyone in here slacks on. Kudos to you, you look like you're almost done. I would have needed a helping hand. All of a sudden, one of the volunteers came in. The director is calling everyone to a meeting. You should hurry." Mila didn't get much time between her busy schedule that day. The next morning, it was raining heavily. Usually, Mila would be lazy to go to work on days like this. But today, she put on her sweater, her rain boots, opened up her umbrella, and hurried through the rain to get to the library. She was eager to read the book again. Unfortunately, whenever Mila sat down, she was disrupted one way or the other. So that day after work, Mila decided to bring the book back home. It had been pouring all day. Mila opened the window to her bedroom and sat down on her bed with the book. She would finally read it now. She turned on her lamp as a cool breeze flew in the room, flipping over page after page. Mila opened the book to the page of the tree again. As she continued to read about the angels, she was all the more intrigued when she stumbled upon other kinds of creatures, like demons. Just as there was the Lord of Light, there was a Dark Lord, one who ruled over the underworld. He was forbidden into descending into the human world, and it was only through an incarnate that he could be born into the world, and of his followers were 3. The Night of the Dark Lord. No one knows who shall be the Night, not even the Dark Lord himself. He will be the one who shall help establish the kingdom of the Dark Lord, one from mankind who would rank above all through his irrevocable submission to the Dark Lord. The Dark Spirit, the spirit of the Dark Lord, who possesses man to do works of unrighteousness, works of impiety and filth, causing man to go mad in his greed for woman, for wealth and power. The worshipper. Of humankind, there are some men who are not human, but equal to demons, committing injustice and oppression to please the Dark Lord. They submit to him and are obedient to him and will do anything in his cause. The more Mila read the book, the more she became open to the idea of otherworldly beings, considering if there could really be angels and demons. A chill ran down Mila's spine as a heavy gust of wind sprinkled the rain onto her face. She hurried to close the window. It was late. She would have to continue tomorrow. Morning, Mila. Good morning, Christina. What's up? You look like you're deep in your thoughts. Nothing. I was just wondering about something. Do you believe in angels? Angels that could help people when they're in trouble? I really don't know. Never thought about it. I've been thinking maybe there can be spiritual beings like that. Who knows? Wouldn't they be just amazing? I would want to see one. Have you been going to the weekly preachings or something? No, just doing a little research. I was reading it in that old book I found. After a long day at work, Mila hurried home, splashing through the puddles that had collected on the sidewalks. The air was moist and cold after the heavy showers. Mila made herself a hot cup of coffee and sat down with the book again. She stroked her hand along the page, searching for where she left off. Knowing all this information felt so strange. There was something haunting about it, an eagerness to know more. There were angels and demons, but that wasn't quite it. There were more creatures existing between the two. They were known as the angels of justice. They were neither of the archangels of the Lord of Light nor of the demons of the Dark Lord. They were free to do as they will. They fight against the demons of the Dark Lord, against evil and unrighteousness, but they have been cut from their connection to the Lord of Light for having an ongoing clash with the Angel of Destiny and the Angel of Death. They now wander the earth, unable to return to the Lord of Light, but are still faithful to him. Mila had come upon an interesting page today, a page that contained a ritual that could be performed to call an angel to descend, though a human being could never see an angel for themselves. Anyone who would want to meet an angel must close his eyes, for whoever should cast a glance at them, even for a single instance, would not be able to bear it. Once an angel was called, 3 questions could be asked, and if anyone is to ask another, the angel would take his life. The next day after work, Mila decided she would try the ritual that night. When the night had become silent, she began to prepare everything as was written in the book, from removing all graven images to ridding all foul and impure things from her presence. She would have to cleanse herself from all impurities and cover her hair and body with a cloth of one color, and all that was to remain exposed was her face. So Mila took a shower. She cleaned out her room and placed another white, clean cloth on the ground and lit a lone candle at the center. And as for the cloth of one color, she covered herself with a clean bedsheet from head to toe. And lastly, the angels answered prayers done from the earnesty of one's heart. Mila took a deep breath, closed her eyes, when she suddenly started to hear the rain pour heavily outside. She could hear the drops of water soaking the floors inside her room. But she didn't move from her place. She sat still and called out above. If there are truly any angels out there, watching over me, listening to me, I would like to speak to you. Mila paused as she felt a cool breeze enter the room through her window. But there was nothing but silence. I know I won't be able to see you, but I only wish to seek knowledge about your kind. If you're here, please respond to me. Mila waited to nothing but silence in the now cold room. Was she just making a fool out of herself? Mila pressed her eyes shut and called out a last time, hoping dearly for her calls to be answered. I don't know why, but I've always felt like there was a presence watching over me. The truth is, when I read this book, I felt like I found something that I wanted to believe in. All I want is to rid myself of the skepticism. If you're present here, please speak to me, please. Mila suddenly heard the flame in front of her blow out. It was so sudden it seemed that something had caused it to happen. Could it really be? Mila's heart started to race the minute she heard a voice in front of her. Yes, Mila. Have you called me? Which one of the angels are you? Mila struggled to say, feeling awfully anxious. Sweat began to trickle down her forehead as she spoke to this presence. I am the angel of destiny. You are the one who writes fate. Yes, Mila, I cannot stay here for long. You don't have much time. Ask whatever you will, but beware. You've used one of your questions already. Angel of destiny, where is the soul taken after death? It is taken to oblivion, a place far from here, where everything is still, where there is neither light nor darkness, a place suspended in time, a place of waiting till the day of judgment. I hope we can meet again. I have so many things to ask you. Be cautious of the things you ask for, Mila. Man's desires have only harmed him, but wisdom is what saved him. You have one last question. Ask wisely. Mila gulped, feeling so much under pressure. This was her last chance, her only chance. Pressing her eyelids shut, her lips trembled as she said, Will I be able to meet the Lord of Light? The Lord of Light is above all. None can reach him except one who is most righteous and pure, the one who dies with a clean heart, worthy to present himself to his Lord. If you can live a life of piety, you shall achieve what you desire of your meeting with him. Mila, I have answered all your questions. It's time for me to leave. Yes, of course. Farewell. Mila became anxious to see the being for herself. An angel was in her presence. She wouldn't get another chance like this if she could only catch one glimpse of it. Unable to hold her curiosity, Mila slowly opened her eyes. Suddenly overwhelmed by the brightest light she had ever seen. Where was she? It seemed that she was surrounded by brightness. Brightness that caused excruciating pain in her eyes. No! No! Mila screamed out. She couldn't bear the light. The fractions of a second felt like a never-ending dread before Mila collapsed to the floor, seeing nothing but darkness in front of her, and the bright light suddenly vanished. Mila panted as she sat there. She opened her eyes and blinked, but it was too dark for her to see anything. She stumbled across her room to find the light. But no matter how many times she turned on the switch, she couldn't see anything. She couldn't see the light. She couldn't see the light. She couldn't see the light anymore. What had Mila done? Had Mila gone blind? No. No! Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.